Evening. Welcome to the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting for July 18th, 2016. We're going to begin with the pledge to the flag, and then after that I'm going to ask for people to remain standing.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, with liberty and justice for all.
Obviously, it's impossible for us to ignore the fact that over the past few weeks, there have been cases of horrendous violence in America as well as in France. And so we would ask that we have a moment of silence for all the innocent lives that have been lost in this needless and heartless violence that we're seeming to be subject to every few days. Okay, thank you. Mrs. Pullen, pull the board, please, or take the roll, please.
Mr. Galloway, Mr. Brasky,
Here.
Mr. Harvey,
Here.
Mr. Dents, Mr. Rocco.
Here. The record show Mr. Dents and Mr. Galloway had some prior commitments they were unable to get out of for this meeting. We're going to begin with our public comment. Actually, before public comment, we're going to go to our solicitor. We did have an executive session. I apologize for the late start. A little bit of it was my fault. I was chauffeuring my daughter around, which is my full-time job nowadays, and got here a little late. And but we did have an executive session as well. Mr. Clark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board held an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss two personnel matters, a matter of potential litigation and a litigation matter involving a land development project here in the township.
Okay, thank you. All right, one name on the list is Guido Mariani.
I have a comment and then a question for the board. By the way, Mr. Kenny sends a message. He broke his hip. He couldn't be here, but he says, if you please tell the board he wants an EIT.
Okay.
Now, during the last meeting, Mr. Rocco mentioned crosswalks soon to be put in place on New Falls Road. Now, when I hear that, the first thing I think of is that we're going to have these visions of a lot of pedestrians, a lot of kids manifesting themselves to some of our board members. And this time it's going to be they're walking on the Thornridge side of New Falls, which I believe would be consistent with the board's plan for a long time to have sidewalks placed on both sides of New Falls Road. And I think that that will exceed $1 million if we have to do that. So since PennDOT had agreed to pay for sidewalks along New Falls Road, along a 1 mile portion between Middletown, Zimmerman Lane in Middletown, to Indian Creek Drive in Bristol Township, and they paid $2 million to do that. And they also created that half mile, which you're familiar with, a blacktop between Holly Drive and the 7400 block on New Falls Road. Then I would ask this board to please, before you go any further with any plans for sidewalks on New Falls Road, get in touch with PennDOT and let's see what kind of assistance that they can give us. They're giving it to everyone else. The question I have for the board is the Pennsylvania General Assembly enacted the Medical Marijuana Act in April, which legalized medical marijuana and allows for growers, processors, and dispensaries to open up in Pennsylvania. Now, Phil Ellinger, executive director of the Pennsylvania Association of Zoning Officials, said if a municipality does not have specific regulations to address the new businesses, which makes sense to me, it would have to choose the existing category, the ordinances that we already have, in the zoning ordinance that closely matches the use and allow the businesses to operate right here in the township. Then he gives a couple examples. For instance, private indoor greenhouses is a land use covered by probably an existing ordinance, but what about the products that they grow in these greenhouses? Flowers, vegetables, that's one thing. Growing marijuana in them, that's a whole different animal. Want to compare dispensaries? A pharmacy could be a dispensary. A pharmacy next to a school or even in a residential neighborhood, I think that's one thing. But a pot dispensary, again, that's a different animal. So my question is, are our present ordinances sufficient to identify and control the uses of these new businesses that may very well want to come into Falls Township? And have we given adequate consideration for the public safety? Now, I'm sure we will do. We will make sure the public is safe and that these things are, use a word that might be a little harsh, controlled, so that we don't have a lot of problems with them. That was my question. And
Okay. Well, like a lot of things, I think it's a great question. And obviously the General Assembly's decision to move forward and, with that law, certainly does cause us to have to take a look at all the issues that you're bringing up. So I don't know, Mr. Clark, if you want to talk about it. I know we've talked about taking a look at the ordinances, and actually Ms. Gallagher has been looking at our zoning ordinance and our subdivision land development ordinance for a better part of about a year and a half now, looking at different issues that need to be tweaked and tightened up and changed in some cases. And so there are things that we're going to be changing, and so this is one of the things we'll kind of add to that list. But
And we're also at this time, Mr. Harvey, waiting for the state to issue the regulations and guidelines on a variety of things, from how big the facilities have to be and other issues along those lines. And until those guidelines and rules are issued, it's tough for us to put it into an ordinance, but we're working on, we'll be prepared once those guidelines are issued.
I have every confidence, whatever we do in this township, it'll be keeping the public safe.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'll address the other issue too. I don't have, and I don't think the other board members have either, but I don't want to speak for them, any plan to have a sidewalk on the Thornridge side of New Falls Road. In fact, I would like to see no walking, no biking signs erected by us on that stretch of Thornridge from where the crosswalk's going to be down to the existing sidewalk, and just to make it clear that people shouldn't be there. And I'll go back, and I've said this a couple times, but to me, the reason we didn't want, because people sometimes look at that section of New Falls and they see a decent, see a pretty good sized shoulder on the Thornridge side, and well, why don't we just make that a sidewalk? And my thought process, and I think the other people as well, is there's no barrier between the vehicles on that road and that shoulder where you're going to invite people to walk or ride bikes. And so what's to stop a car from drifting over? There isn't anything. And we talked about putting guardrails up or curbing or something, and found that PennDOT was not going to allow us to do that. So we said, okay, well then we're not going to do anything on that side with that section. And it wouldn't create a safe environment. Right. So,
And
sound like me.
enhancing the crosswalk is meant to get them over to the side.
Right.
Where is the sidewalk?
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You have to understand, if this started about 2011 or so I'm suspicious when I hear these things.
but it was funny because the sidewalk, that project is very, very close to completion. Some loose ends here and there to tie up. But I was thinking about you the other day because I was driving down on that section, and there, utilizing the new sidewalk, was a woman pushing a baby carriage. So that was, I said, well,
We're on the same side again. Jeez.
all right.
Good night.
That's the only name on the list. Does anyone else wish to speak? Okay. All right, we have a couple certificates of appropriateness this evening. These are for homes in the historic district that are going to be making improvements and they go before our historic review board, and then they come before us. And the first one we're looking at this evening is 11 Yardley Avenue. Mr. Gray?
Yes, as mentioned, this is for 11 Yardley Avenue. They are looking to re-roof the detached garage. The owner of the property is Kevin and Sharon Reed. This has been reviewed and approved by the HARB board. The board is asked to consider this certificate of appropriateness at this time.
Okay. All right, and we have the handout here and the information and photographs as well. I think the owners are here this evening, but I don't know, is there any comment or questions? No. Okay. All right, so is there a motion then to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 11 Yardley Avenue?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, next is 94 Main Street. Mr. Gray?
Yes, at this property, they're looking to construct a 12-foot by 20-foot, 240-square-foot detached accessory structure. The owner of the property is Alan and Janine Rushing. This has been approved by the HARB board on July 13th. The board is asked to consider this certificate of appropriateness.
Okay. Okay. All right, comments or questions?
It's 20 by 40.
20, no,
Is that what you said?
20
12
by
by
12.
20.
240 square feet.
240.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, 20 by 12.
No, I have none.
Mr. Boraski?
No questions.
Okay. All right, so if no questions, is there a motion then to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 94 Main Street?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. And lastly, 64 Main Street, replace a wood fence with a khaki adobe vinyl fence. Mr. Gray?
Yes, the owner of this property is Alan Moyer. This has been approved also by the HARB board. The board is asked to consider this certificate of appropriateness for 64 Main Street.
Okay. Street. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right, comments or questions from board members?
I have none.
No.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 64 Main Street?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, all right, thank you to those homeowners. Okay, item 5 is a waiver of land development for Hyacinth Incorporated, which is at 85 Ben Fairless Drive, which is in the KIPC. Mr. Gray?
Yes, the applicant is proposing improvements for 2-acre portion of the property. Representing the applicant tonight is Mr. Tom Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, staff, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom Jennings with Curtin and Hefner. I'm here on behalf of Nicolak Paving Stones, LLC, which has entered into a license arrangement with Hyacinth Inc., the property owner, that is the subject of tonight's application for a waiver of land development. The land development was triggered by the allocation of space aspect in the ordinance. With me tonight are Eric Clace of Gilmore and Associates. Eric and I were both authorized by Hyacinth to speak for Hyacinth if need be on this particular project and application. Also with me are the CEO of Nicolak, Roberto Nicolia, and the business development manager, Nino Nicolia, if you have questions of them. The application is for waiver of land development. The license area is a 2-acre portion of the Hyacinth property, Hyacinth formerly known as Ostem, which is essentially the corner of the extended parking lot. The use for Nicolak would be for display and distribution of its paver materials, because Nicolak hopes to acquire 20 acres of Hyacinth property pursuant to a subdivision and land development at a later date. That negotiation is pending. We were before the Planning Commission back on May 24th, which granted its approval with certain waivers also, and we're here this evening looking for this board to approve the waiver of land development application. Within the resolution prepared by the solicitor, we would ask your consideration for the removal of the street tree note that's in the substantive portion of the resolution. We believe we had achieved that at the Planning Commission. In any case, this is literally the parking lot at Hyosin. Eric Clace would be happy to go through any of the engineering detail, or Mr. Nicoli would be happy to speak about the company, a union company, I might add, if that's of interest to the board.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about the company.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just, and I see we have a display of the plan, just to give us a little bit of an idea.
Want to revise the resolution? So we just want to trade.
Sports Illustrated moderation.
Okay, once again, my name's Eric Clace from Gilmore & Associates. What I've put in front of you is an aerial of the 28-acre parcel. Once again, this is a 2-acre lease area, and I'll walk up to
You
the
could take
board.
that off if you want.
Yeah.
I'll walk up to the board, point to the location. The location of the lease area is general city along Ben Farlish Drive. There'll be no additional impervious added to the site. All materials we're showing on the plan are currently on site within this hatched area. Besides that, if you have any questions. Hello.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
There you
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Comments or questions
Not yet.
regarding engineering? All right. I had a question just about, I guess, the business part of it. These are, I guess, the stones are going to come in, I'm assuming, via truck?
I'm going to refer.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yes, currently, thank you for your time tonight.
Sure.
We have 3 manufacturing facilities, one in North Haven, Connecticut, Long Island, New York, and Frederick, Maryland. Right now, we're supplying this facility from our Frederick, Maryland facility and our Long Island, New York facility. They come in tractor trailers. Currently, we're also working on a rail siding to get the rail activated on this site to bring in things through rail. It's packaged material. They're strapped, wrapped. There's no on pallets. There's no leaching. We go 3 high, maybe sometimes 4 high. The pallets are rated for 20,000 pounds. So most we put on the lowest pallet would be about 12,000 pounds. So we don't have any issues of them collapsing or anything like that.
Other questions?
Yeah, can you give us an idea about the size of the company?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, we're a 50-year-old company, second generation. We have close to 400 employees. Revenue is well over 120 million. We're looking to eventually build a site, another factory here at this site, about 40 to 50,000 square foot building, looking to employ between 20 and 30 people. As we said, we are a union. Most of our labor is skilled labor. We train them how to run the equipment. We're completely automated, robotics, forklift operators. There's very little that we do with manual labor. So the labor that we're referring to is skilled labor, and hopefully we can train locally.
What kind of union would that be?
Local 339, International Service Workers of America.
Okay.
And on the island, we're also Teamsters and all that, but this facility would be the local 339.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so as Mr. Jennings is pointing out, there is one section on page 1 of the proposed resolution, subdivision land development ordinance, section 19148A, requires that within any land development, street trees must be planted along the sides of all streets where suitable trees do not exist. And you're requesting a waiver from that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and it's a pretty common waiver, especially in an industrial park like this one.
And we think we had raised it at Planning Commission. If I'm mistaken on that, we'd certainly ask your consideration this evening.
Okay. All right, so any issues or?
No, I have no issues with it.
Okay. Mr. Sullivan, anything from you?
I have nothing at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. All right, any public comment? See no hands. Okay. All right, so this would be Resolution 1621, which would be a waiver for land development, also granting a waiver for Section 19148A. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 16-21?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay, next item on our agenda, Morton Salt Incorporated, waiver of land development. We did get word earlier today that one of the main professionals for this particular project was not able to be here this evening, and so they asked that we would table this to another meeting. So at this time, is there a motion to table the Morton Salt waiver of land development to, I guess they're okay with our next meeting? Is that right? August 15th. August 15th. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Okay, item 7 is consider notice of intent to award the bid for the 2016 Falls Township Road Improvement Program. Mr. Gray.
Township received a letter from Mr. Sullivan dated July 11th regarding the 2016 road improvement program. T&M has reviewed the bids submitted to the township and publicly opened on June 29th. 2 bids were received. They are from General Asphalt Paving. The base bid was $755,994.26. James D. Morrissey, base bid $1,003,750. Based on the bid evaluation, General Asphalt Paving Company is the lowest responsible bidder for both the base bid and the alternate one of the road improvement project. It is recommended that the Board of Supervisors authorize the Township Engineer's Office to issue a notice of intent to award to General Asphalt Paving for the total bid cost of $755,994.26 for the base bid. The Board is asked to consider this at this time.
Okay, and just for review, so people know, the road improvement program for this year includes a reconstruction of Howley Drive and also a mill and overlay of basically one half of Mill Creek Road, going from Route 13 to Levittown Parkway on the North Park and Willowwood side, basically, on Elderberry side. So that's what we're looking at. Anything you want to add, Mr. Sullivan?
Not at this time.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
What was our budgeted amount?
Budgeted amount for this?
$725,000.
So we're about 31 over.
Yes.
Is the other side of Mill Creek Road, that's still Falls Township, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How's the road on that side?
About the same as condition on this side, but we may do that next year or a subsequent year.
The price difference between Morrissey and General, is it, not really sure of the terminology, but
It's $250,000. Yeah.
I know, but
yeah,
how do they bid? Is it square foot or mile or linear foot?
It's based on the unit prices for milling and paving. And then
So-
as far as the reconstruction for all
I'm just
milling,
wondering if, like, did they break it down in their bid? Did we get a cheap price right now from General?
we got the price we should have gotten from General.
Okay.
JDM seems a little high.
I didn't
this
know if
time.
it was, kind of worth taking advantage of the cheap paving at this point that we got from General. If we have a set fee, like, if we get a change order, we won't do any other work.
Well, we do change orders, do other kinds of work, but we have to be careful that it's in the same area and that it doesn't.
You can't work off the pricing off of this bid,
No,
right?
not necessarily, no.
Right. But, yeah, it also sounds like we're about 30 over bid, 30 over our budget, so
Yeah.
it's probably right in line.
I had a different number last year, and Mr. Gray cut me about $30,000.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were right on budget.
You would have got it right.
To the penny.
All right.
Anything
I'm
else?
good, no, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. All right, any public comment? See no hands. Okay, is there a motion then to authorize the notice of intent to award the 2016 road improvement program to General Asphalt in the base bid $755,994.26.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, item number 8, consider a proposal from Remington Vernick for engineering and administrative services for the Green Light Go project for Mill Creek Parkway and Levittown Parkway intersection. Mr. Gray?
Township received a letter from Tom Beach at Remington Vernick Beach dated July 13th regarding the Mill Creek Parkway and Levittown Parkway intersection. This is part of the Green Light Go program. The township received a grant for that recently. Part of the proposal includes 2 services, engineering and administration. The engineering portion will include survey, base plans, permit fees, construction plans, specifications. The inspection portion will and administration will include pre-construction, construction observation. The total cost of the proposal is $34,590. The board is asked to consider this item at this time. In addition, Mr. Chris Fazio from RVB is here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Questions or comments, Mr. Fazio?
No, it's not.
No.
No? Okay.
Actually, I do relate it to a different project, though.
Okay. Well, since he's here, might as well bring him up. Because I had a question about the same.
Okay, so we'll close this out, then I'll ask him.
Okay. Simple question, really. We're looking at engineering inspection. Obviously, we got the grant to move forward on this. What's the timetable for, if we award this tonight, when do things start happening, and when does it get finished, basically?
If it's awarded, good question. If it's awarded tonight, give us about 60 days and we'll have a design package all ready for you to go out to bid with. The trick's going to be PennDOT. We have to make a submission to them and work with them to get construction permits to go out to bid. That's going to be your longest lead time. I can tell you they're very backed up right now, so the quicker we can get our authorization to get a package into them, the better to get the project implemented.
So we can't go out to bid until we get the approval from PennDOT?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they have about a 6-week backlog right now. They're actually telling us, take your time getting submissions in because we're not going to get them until mid-August right now.
So are we updating all the lights in the intersection as well?
Absolutely. It's going to be ADA compliant. You're going to put new mast arms in, new signalization improvements, new wiring, new everything.
Okay.
The crosswalks.
Okay.
There's no sidewalks over there, though. Right? Do they require crosswalks for not having sidewalks?
You're going to add ADA ramps, and then that's going to bring that element into the picture.
Right? I think it's all grass.
Where?
Corner of Mill Creek and Levittown Parkway.
Coming underneath 13?
No, one down. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no sidewalks.
No?
Grass.
So, but they still require.
Well, we're going to put ADA ramps in, which is a requirement of the grant. As a result, we'll look at the crosswalks and we'll come back with recommendations for you.
Okay. Right. Just seems a little odd,
Yeah.
especially with an ADA ramp when, you're going to be on grass, so
Understood.
that's all I had.
Okay. All right, any public comment needed? All right, so we're looking at $34,590 for Remington Vernick for the professional services for the Mill Creek Parkway, Levittown Parkway Green Light Go program. Is there a motion to approve that expenditure?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, pull the board, please, Ms. Paul.
Mr. Boraski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Rocco?
Yes.
Okay. And you had another question, Mr.
Yeah,
Harvey?
can you give us an update on the sidewalks, New Falls sidewalks?
Yeah, the things that remain to be left done are the striping, some punch list items, and the curb stops. The contractor has told us that they plan on having those all done by the end of this week.
Yeah, there is one big hang-up, and it's with a drain. Has that been resolved?
We're waiting on PennDOT to give us their opinion on our solution. We gave them a few different options for the correction of that issue, and we're just waiting to hear back from them at this point.
Right. And then in the interim, are you just going to leave
It's
blocked off? Yeah.
blacktop now.
Oh,
It's
it is
blacktop
blacktop?
now on a temporary
Oh.
basis, just as an
Oh, cool.
interim measure.
All right. Awesome. Good then. Thank you.
So next time we'll see you is to hopefully make a recommendation of award for the contract for this project.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you again.
All right. And I do know, just to address another issue, I do know we had one business owner who was complaining about the installation of a curb in front of her store. I know she contacted Mr. Gray, and she took to social media, and there was a lot of criticism. And just for clarification, the individual who owned the store doesn't own the property. She rents that property. And the person who does own the property, her landlord, I guess you'd say, was told about this project and shown the plans about 3 years ago, and was involved in some discussion with members of the staff here, and probably Mr. Fazio as well. And so
You and I were here.
yeah, I think I couldn't remember who else was with me. Yeah, but so this is something we did notify all the property owners. We sat actually in this room with all the property owners to let them know what our thoughts were, what we wanted to do, what our goal was, and Mr. Fazio did mention curb stops, which are the sort of the curbs that you have in parking lots so you don't go too far forward, and those are going to be installed in that particular parking lot. And there's going to be striping, so it should be a better situation, we think, when it's all finished in terms of making it clear where parking spots are and where the parking spots are not. And so I just wanted to kind of address that because I know it's been sort of discussed sort of out in the cyber world, a little bit about what we did and didn't do. But we contacted everybody and had conversations, and as Mr. Mariani said, this project's been going on for several years, and so it's not like we just jumped into this and didn't think about it. So, but I want to thank you for the work you're doing, and hoping this project moves quickly, and then the PennDOT gives us a clearance to finish up the drain issue with the New Falls Road. But
We'll be pushing them.
okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
you.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, item number 9, consider the 2016-17 diesel and unleaded fuel bids for Falls Township. Mr. Gray?
Yes, Jason Lawson in the Public Works Department recently received the Bucks County Consortium fuel bid information, which was opened up by Upper Southampton Township. The results were forwarded to Falls Township. After review, Mr. Lawson is recommending Regan's Inc. for the purchase of ultra-low sulfur diesel, and also Superior Plus Energy Service for the purchase of unleaded regular. The board is asked to consider these two vendors at this time.
Okay, Mr. Clark, just with this, because we have two different companies giving us two different products. They were obviously in this, both of them in the consortium bid. Are these two separate actions, or just approving the two bids highlighted in this memo?
You can approve it because this is the consortium recommendation for, because they bid it combined for diesel and unleaded fuel. So you can accept the consortium bid.
Okay. All right, any questions from board members?
No.
No.
Okay, and public comment? Okay. Is there a motion then to accept the consortium bids, which are highlighted in the June 23rd memo from Mr. Lawson?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, item 10, consider resolution for 115 Lincoln Highway Sewage Facility Planning Module. Mr. Gray?
Yes, the board is asked to consider this planning module resolution at this time. This is a standard procedure for approving the sewage components of new development projects that either differ from the previous use of the site or differs in terms of anticipated sewage flow from the site. Since this project is changing the use of the property from a used car lot to a car wash, Falls Township and DEP must concur that the sewage flows from the proposed project will not have any adverse effect on any of the sewage collection and treatment systems that are in place, which handle the sewage flows originating from this property. The way we coordinate this effort with DEP is through the planning module approval process, or sewage facilities planning, which is what the board has before them tonight. As mentioned, there is a resolution for this property, and the board is asked to consider the resolution at this time.
Okay. Comments or questions?
So there's been some delays with the car wash, or have we already moved? No.
Yeah, it's starting to come together.
No, I have not.
No, I'm good.
Kind of building off of Mr. Rocco's question, I mean, have they gone to planning yet, or anything?
No.
All right, so, should we be doing this now, or should we
This
wait?
is okay.
Still, it's okay?
We have collection, conveyance, and treatment letters from the proper authorities, so
Okay. All right.
this is like the first step.
Basically, no harm, no foul. If they end up not going through, it doesn't really matter, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the car wash did go to the planning commission. There's an issue with
Oh, they didn't go back.
vacation of streets.
Okay,
So
that's.
That's why they're
all right.
not here tonight.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they did get a recommendation of preliminary approval. They're working to see if they can make that a preliminary final before they come to the Board of
Okay,
Supervisors.
I did remember that now. Okay. All right. Public comment needed? I think so. All right, this is 1622?
22.
Okay, so, motion to approve Resolution 1622.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everything.
All right, minutes from June 20th, 2016. We have our first string secretary back with us after her took a little bit of personal time. So glad to have Mrs. Pullen back with us. Mrs. Berry did a very nice job. Comments or questions, corrections?
Nothing.
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the June 20, 2016 minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Nobody's going to say it? Excellent minutes as always, Mrs. Pullen. And we'll forward that to Mrs. Berry as well. Keep the
streak
I know,
alive.
keep the streak going, right? It was just the other day was the anniversary of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak coming to an end, so I don't know how many meetings we've been saying that, but it's more than 56, that's for sure. Engineers report. Mr. Sullivan gets a little bit of an easy time tonight because Mr. Dents isn't here, but go ahead.
I have nothing but good news, Mr. Hart. Well, the board has approved a notice of intent for the 2016 road program. I just want to go over the process at this point. The notice of intent award will be issued this week. The 30-day review period will not expire prior to the next meeting, so at the next meeting, we'll expect Mr. Gray to get authorization to finalize the award, which should happen the same week, but not before the August 15th meeting. And at that point, we can have the pre-construction meeting and have the project start sometime late August, most likely. The Three Arches project is about 70% complete. Painter is getting ready. I think he's painted most of the stuff, but he's got a few other things to do. Most of the restoration work is done. There are a few things left for him to finish up. And the 2013 road program, I've begun negotiations with JDM to try to avoid putting them in default. We're not looking for a resolution of default tonight because they've agreed to do some work. We're still working on what they actually are going to do and how they're going to do it. So hopefully we can work all that out before the next meeting and not have to declare them in default and actually get the work done.
Okay. All right.
That's about all I have.
Comments or questions?
No, thank you.
No thanks.
The Alden Avenue Bridge, any kind of timeline? I know it's not your project necessarily, but it's something PennDOT's
What's that?
doing.
Mr. Gray actually has more information on that than I do at this time.
I believe that's supposed to be completed right around the beginning of school. They wanted to coordinate with the ending of school with the Valley Day, and I believe it's going to be done sometime in the Labor Day area.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Everybody else? No questions? No comments?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the engineering report or accept the engineering report dated July 15th, 2016?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, bill list for this evening, $1,968,386.19. Of that, roughly $2 million, about $29,000 comes from the escrow fund, which is money that developers put up. About $38,000 comes from state funds. About $1 million is payroll, so roughly half of the bill list is payroll. Another $276,000 is for health insurance, And then we actually have some other big insurance bills. We just did our new insurance for liability, which is around, I saw it in here, I'm trying to find it now. There it is. The workers' comp, excuse me, is $114,000. That's what I was thinking of. Okay. But there was another one in here for Vaughn. There it is, $157,000 for insurance. So, it's, as usual, it's a lot of it's a few items take up a big chunk of the of the bill list. Comments or questions for Mr. Gray?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Is there a motion then to pay the bill? $1,968,386.19.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Boraski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Rocco?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to check something else. That popped in my head here. Yes. Okay. There is a $5,000 donation to Pennsbury Lift, which is a program that has been run now for as long as I've been here. Lift, LYFT, standing for Lower Makefield, Yardley, Falls, and Tullytown, works with the school district to do a variety of programming, and so we encourage people, paying attention to the school website, paying attention. Sometimes kids bring things home regarding different activities that Lift is doing, and encourage you to go out and take a look. I know they've done things on drug prevention. I know they've done some things about bullying. They've done things about character education, working with the school district. So we're proud to give them some support, and I know they're going to be going to other communities, and we'll see if they can match us in our donation. They probably can't, but it'll be nice to throw down the gauntlet and see if they want to try and keep up with us. So executive session, we do have our police report from our chief of police, Bill Wilcox.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Gray and staff, good evening. I'd like to start off this evening by thanking the residents of Falls Township and all the businesses for the outpouring of goodwill, food, and support in these troubled times that my brothers and sisters in law enforcement are going through all across the country. In conjunction with that, I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors, the Police Association of Falls Township, and our Honor Guard for attending the funeral of the officers in Dallas. As you know, this is the worst loss that law enforcement has had since 9/11. It continues yesterday in Baton Rouge, and hopefully it will subside at some point in time. All police departments are all over doing their due diligence and are being especially careful in everything that we do and say, and we're just trying our best. With that being said, there is another business in the township that's going out of its way to facilitate the buying of vests for our 3 new officers that we are in the process of hiring right now. Details will follow. It'll be sometime towards the end of August. It's the Stadium Restaurant and located on Lincoln Highway, Business Route 1. 2 weeks ago Friday, we had 8 burglaries occur in the hedgerow section, Falls Township. Not only are 8 burglaries a lot, but 5 of the houses were occupied. In doing so, it happened on a street that I'm very familiar with. I happen to live on. And people were, to say, very much concerned. When somebody enters your house and breaks into your house while you're there, it's not normal for burglars to operate under that MO, but they did on this particular evening. I'm happy to say that we have some good leads. We took a lot of DNA, and hopefully we'll come out with some arrest on that. I just spoke with Sergeant Clark today. Our drug enforcement is going gangbusters. In conjunction with the county and our own detectives, we've made a lot of good arrests, and we're continuing. We have a lot of leads going on, and things are going very well in that area. Traffic continues to be one of our number one priorities. That's going very well. The grants that we have with the Department of Transportation, we're taking advantage of that, and that's going very well. Bike patrol. I would certainly be remiss if I didn't give Mr. Boraski some kudos on this, because this was an idea that he had about interacting with the community, and this was a combination of walking and bike patrol. Our bike patrol over the weekend on Saturday afternoon covered 14 square miles through the different sections of Levittown. They interacted with a lot of people, bought a lot of lemonade from the stands, and during that, they responded to a boy choking, and we'll continue to do that program in August and then through the fall. The Youth Academy. Our Youth Academy is taking place. It started last Wednesday. It's in full operation right now. I have schedules for members of the board here.
I'll take this moment while the chief's handing out schedules to point out that last year the police department was nice enough to give shirts to the board members, police academy shirts, youth police academy shirts, which we're wearing this evening. So thank those guys for that. But go ahead, continue.
Those schedules are such that if you have any free time, and I know your time is very valuable, if you have any free time, Officer Yeager would like you to stop and see what's going on with that. Finally, our Facebook page. I just assigned another person to Facebook. Both Sergeant Boschman and Amy from our staff are doing their due diligence on that. I have phone numbers for them both, as does Officer Ward and the other, Lieutenant Ward and the other lieutenants. So we need information on that instantaneously. They have the wherewithal to do it. I think that's all I have for this evening. Thank you, gentlemen.
Comments or questions for the chief?
No, I appreciate the update.
Thank you. And thank you for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gray?
Yes, just a few items tonight. Township received a letter from Nate Fox dated June 17th requesting extension of time waiver of land development at 925 Old Lincoln Highway. That's for Big Bear, requesting a 120-day extension from July 20th. That would take us to November 16th, I believe. Board is asked to consider this extension at this time.
Okay, comments or questions?
No.
No? Okay, motion to grant the 120-day extension?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I've received a letter from Mr. Tom Hecker dated June 27th regarding McGrath Homes, St. Joe's Court, requesting an extension of time on this project until October 31st, 2016. Board is asked to consider this extension.
Questions?
No.
No? Okay. I did talk with, so I've had some questions about this. This is, again, the old St. Joseph the Worker Parish site and the over 55 homes that are going in there. Had some conversations with Mr. Sullivan about where the builders are in the process, and there is some work the builders still have to do regarding floodplain maps as well as stormwater management. And so that's work that still has to be ongoing, and while they're doing that, nothing else can really happen. So once they finish that process, then they can start the process of coming to us or coming to the different boards and commissions and planning commission, possibly zoning if they need it, and then eventually to us. So that's where that whole project is in terms of a timeline. Is there a motion to grant the extension through October 31st, 2016?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Township received a letter from Mr. Carl Dress representing Pensbury Manor and their waiver of land development application. They have their project set to expire on July 24th, and they are requesting extension of time on this project for 90 days, which would take us to October 22nd. The board is asked to consider this extension at this time.
No questions.
Okay. Motion to grant the 90-day extension?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Also, the township received a letter from Amy Farrell representing Family Dining located at 8575 New Falls Road, or the other name would be the Burger King, requesting extension of time on this project until August 31st, 2016. Board is asked to consider this extension at this time.
Okay. Comments or questions?
No.
No? Okay. Is there a motion to grant the extension through August 31st, 2016?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I just want to make an announcement. The following businesses were approved to open operations in Falls Township during the month of June 2016. They include Vanquish Fencing, located at 1900 South Pennsylvania Avenue, Isabella's Beauty Studio, 81 Big Oak Road, Suite 206, AB Installations, 221 Lower Marsville Road, Suite B, that's Case Technologies, 81 Big Oak Road, Suite 201, and Keystone Bagels, 8010 Mill Creek Parkway. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, board comment? Mr. Boraski?
Comment.
Mr. Rocco?
No comment.
Okay. I want to just do a follow-up from our last meeting. There was a gentleman, I forget his name, but a gentleman who came and spoke and asked about the quarry, I guess for lack of a better term, that's getting filled in on Penn Valley Road, and whether or not there'd be fishing allowed in that quarry. It's private property. It's not owned by the township. We did reach out to the owner, who is not interested in allowing anyone to fish on his property in that lake. So we said we'd check, and we did, but we kind of thought that the answer wouldn't be one that people would like to hear. I do notice there are a couple people here from Lyft, and I didn't know if they wanted to just say a few words or maybe give a little plug for something they have coming up.
Good evening. My name is Tim Philpott. I'm the project director for Lyft, and on behalf of our coalition and the students of Pennsbury, we are very appreciative of the gift and the grant from Falls Township. We've had the pleasure of working with Falls Township, the Parks and Rec Department, the Police Department, and the citizens for the last 15 years, and through our efforts and the combined efforts of the community, we really have been able to make a difference in the community conditions for our young people. Encouraging them to make better decisions, and through a review of the community data, we are seeing that our kids are doing better. So we do appreciate your support. We could not continue the work that we do without it, and again, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That would be a good decision if you could get the zoning code update.
So as we are moving into the dog days of summer, we know it was a hot day today, as Mr. Boraski can attest, working outside as much as he does, and we know it's supposed to be close to 100 over the weekend. We just ask people to keep in mind neighbors who might be elderly, who might have some health issues. Keep an eye out for them. If there's problems, health problems that arise from the heat, which does happen, obviously calling 911 is your best bet, okay? Helping each other out through the next couple months, and hopefully it doesn't get too hot. This is a heat wave, hopefully, that doesn't last too much longer. We do want to look out for everybody around us, and I know Chief Wilcox, pointed out, some of the things that are going on around the country, as we took a moment of silence earlier this meeting. We all talk about wanting the country to be better and using different slogans for talking about the country being better. Well, it doesn't get better unless the people who live in neighborhoods like the ones in this township make it better. No one else is going to do it. It's our job to do it. It's the reason that we kind of signed up to do this kind of work, or signed up to be Little League coaches, or work with projects like Lyft, or become a police officer. this is or a firefighter or anything else. It's the reason we do it, is to make the community better. And the more people that do that, the community gets better real fast. So it is on us, to change the way we act and think and speak, and also not show any tolerance for people who don't act and think and speak in ways that make this country better. So hopefully we can get the country, back where it needs to be. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.